Hello everyone, welcome to my latest video, which is a flip through of my traveler's notebook from up north. It says that's Duluth, Minnesota in this particular case. And I do want to show you quickly that this was made by, if I can get this open, Happy Planning Shop. That is an Etsy store. So if you like what you see here with the notebook or the insert, that's where you can get it. So it says up north, make the most of it. And this was actually the first traveler's notebook that I ever did. So this one came before the London one that I have a previous view of on my channel. So January, late January this year. So this is copper metallic washi, and I believe it's from Stampin' Up. Don't quote me on that, but I think it is. This card was from A Beautiful Mess. I just put some cute star embellishments on there. We stayed at a brand new hotel, so we wanted to make sure that we had pictures of that. So we were up there for a scrapbooking event. So we went and did that, then went to our hotel, dropped our stuff, checked in, and then went out again. So here's my friend. Those are her feet. She's resting just a few minutes before we went out again. So this is a restaurant. It's my favorite place to eat in Duluth, Minnesota. It's called Taste of Saigon, so it's a Thai restaurant. But they also do about 50% Chinese, and then the other 50 is the Thai. I've never had anything bad there, so everything is good. So if you're ever in that area, I highly recommend it. It's right in the heart of downtown by the water. And my friend that went with me had actually die cut these on her Cricut, so I wanted to make sure that I put those in there. So this is our view when we left Taste of Saigon. Gorgeous. And I like that I was able to do my journaling a little off-center here. Makes it a little more interesting. And here are some pictures just around town. We actually stayed in Superior, which is across the bridge from Duluth, and so this is us driving back into Duluth for the day. And yes, Jabba. We had heard a little rumor that there was a snow sculpture of Jabba the Hutt, so we thought, hey, we're going to drive around town until we find it, because if we leave here without seeing that, we would be disappointed in ourselves. So we did find it. Here is Jabba in all of his snowy glory. That was fun. Then we went to the, I think you say it Carpelis, but it could be Carpeles, not exactly sure. It's a manuscript library museum in Duluth, and I don't know how long it's been there, but it was new to us. We had not heard about it until this trip. So we thought we would go in there and just check out what they have. And so this, as you can tell, these aren't really manuscripts, but they have some Egyptian pieces because they also have things that tie into the hieroglyphics. So we wanted to see all of that for sure. So there were some more of their Egyptian pieces. This was an awesome thing. We didn't know this was there, so we happened upon it by accident, but it was a letter signed by Abraham Lincoln. So that was pretty cool. And then this is the building that houses the museum, and that's just as much of a thing to see as the museum collections. Look at this beautiful skylight, and then this chandelier hanging down. It was absolutely gorgeous. And then we were there at just the right time of day. It was late afternoon, early evening, so the sun was starting to go down, and it was shining just perfectly on this window. And then we decided to tour Glensheen Mansion. We had both done it before, but it had been years, and they have totally revamped their tours now, and so we were willing to spend some money to find out, well, what did they change? What's new? I'm so glad we did. It was excellent. But first we were walking around the outside, so I wanted to make sure I put pictures in there of that. So there are some of the other outer buildings around the property. And then this word is actually a foam sticker. It came with adhesive on the back. Some more pictures of the grounds. These are super old, like punch out phrases that I had from, I think it was a die cuts with a view paper pad, and these, a whole sheet of them were covered in these phrases, and I've just been hanging on to them forever, so I figured I might as well make them work here. And then, oh, sorry if you heard that. That was one of my cats. The family that used to live in the house loved unique lamps, and so I have featured 2 of them here. This one's really cool because when you turn out the other lights and you just illuminate this one, the shade shows you the Paris skyline at night. And then just some photos of different furnishings around the house. They had a lot of money, obviously, and so everything is just beautiful. And then all the vintage stuff. I love the vintage hats and all the old luggage. Of course, I'm a traveler, so I love luggage of any kind, but I really love this. And then they had some old letters just sitting out, which I thought was pretty cool. Oh, and then they had a whole section of vintage cameras because one of the sons was a photographer. And so they still had some of the old equipment that he used. And then some of the daughters, their bedrooms were on display. Look at this beautiful fireplace. All of that mosaic work, that's pretty intricate. It looks fantastic. And then the old kitchen. I love how they had it still set up pretty much the way it was when the family lived there. Very photogenic. An old typewriter that was on one of the desks in the study. And then one of the sons went to Yale, so they had this little couch area all set up with Yale memorabilia. And then this is how the family would ring the servants. So you could see where they were ringing from, and then the servants would go running. This is their breakfast room. Look at this stained glass. This is part of the, part of the best features of the house. And this is down in the billiard room. And I just loved all these sconces, these lamps that they had on the wall. They definitely liked unique lighting. So I had to include those as well. And then just some journaling about the different things in the space and really how seriously photogenic everything was. When you have money, you can do those fancy things. And it works, that's for sure. Oh, they had this beautiful mandolin in one of the cases downstairs. So I wanted to make sure that got in there. And then I just made a pocket here. So I just took cardstock, cut it at an angle, and then some of our brochures and postcards are in here. And then at the very end of the day, we went over to Fairlawn Mansion, which is back in Superior. I had toured this one before, but she hadn't. So I really tried to get some different pictures this time, different angles and highlighting different things than when I went the first time. So this is the gold metallic paper here. Look at this glassware. Again, when you have money, you can afford those things. And they liked the finer things in life, let me tell you. So it's more tableware and then just different glass items they used, I'm sure, for when they had parties and they needed to serve lots of people. And then I had forgotten about the clocks in this house, or perhaps I just didn't notice them as well as I should have the first time. So I wanted to make sure that I really featured them here. And then again, here's this metallic washi. And then the last page, this was such a gorgeous fireplace that they had here. I loved this blue intricate pattern that they had here, and so I wanted to put that in as the closing page. So that's it for this Traveler's Notebook. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm hoping to do some process videos soon, not just flip-throughs, but I need to work on my recording setup. So for now, I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you back here later. Bye!